Hello, I'm Heather at Umi Nami Farm, and it is April 7th, 2023. Welcome to our next update. I was just this morning looking back 1 year ago at the video we did around this time of year. It was April 1st last year that we did it, and I was really just struck by how much colder and wetter it looks in the images we captured there. It is still cool right now. I'm still wearing a toque when I'm outside. I'm still wearing a coat when I'm outside because the wind is still cold. But what I'm really noticing is that compared to last year, it feels warmer than it did last year, and it's way, 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 way drier than it was last year, which we're super grateful for. At least we're grateful for it right now. I'm hoping that the water situation will stay fine for the summer. Right now, we're really glad it's drier because it means that we could actually do a lot of our tilling a lot sooner than we might have been able to do last year. So, watching that video got me thinking about what's been the same this year, what's been different compared to last year. I would say certainly that a number of things, some of which I'll show you today, some of which I won't show you today, are more or less at the same place. We've got our zucchinis in the ground. We've got our first set of beets right here, carrots down that way coming up. Tender cabbage is in the ground. We have right here planted our first set of daikon. Now, talking about daikon, one thing that was different this year is all of the overwintered daikon that we had. I showed you some of that in the last video, those long rows still full of daikon. That is all finished now, so we have sold the last daikon. There is no more daikon again until these guys get big enough. So it's going to be, I don't know, May sometime before you see daikon again in the box program. I'm going to miss it. I really enjoyed all that daikon, that's for sure. And so hopefully these guys will grow nice and quickly, and we'll have daikon again before long. Alongside here, we've also got our snow peas and not our first, but one of our early batches of turnips. We delayed planting the turnips a little bit this year, mostly just wanting to make sure two things. One was that we had warm enough conditions, and also just in terms of juggling space. There's always just this big jigsaw puzzle to put together with, places where if it's dry enough to have a crop, there's probably already a crop there overwintered. And so finding spaces where it's dry enough to plant and available to plant is always a big jigsaw, putting that all together. But we are looking forward to having turnips maybe in another few weeks, perhaps, kind of a thing, few weeks to a month. And hopefully starting to see towards May, starting to see some of the zucchinis and peas and stuff like this coming, we hope. We'll see how the weather goes. So it really feels like spring to me when we start planting crops like zucchini and green beans. This is our Tanya's pink green beans. We've saved the seeds for these for years, and they're one of the main green beans that we grow. These were planted just within the past week. What I'm really noticing though is that these guys need some more water right now. You can kind of see how this seedling is standing, holding its leaves upright like this. That's what they do when they're feeling stressed for water or there's too much heat, because what this actually does is it causes the leaf to be at a different angle to the sun so that it's actually not getting as much solar energy. So this plant is a little bit stressed out right now. You can see that the soil is kind of dry. I will come through here and give some water later. But if you compare that to, say, this seedling over here, you can see a lot more moisture in the soil, and also standing with the leaves more horizontal. This seedling is feeling a lot happier right now than this one. And so at this time of year, it's in this very middle period where on a cloudy day outside, it might be a lot cooler in the greenhouse. We don't need to water as much, but then you get a sunny day like this when all at once the temperature can rise up very quickly, and then we really need to be more watchful than we have been about making sure these guys have enough water. Now, while I'm here, a couple other notes on some spring things. One really nice spring treat at this time of year is nira. This is our garlic chives. This is actually a perennial crop. And the way we harvest it is by cutting really close to the ground like this, and then it will actually re-sprout. And then we can have 2 or 3 cuts in one season. These are really lovely, if you stir fry them with some eggs or tofu. They're also often used in dumplings and other dishes like this. It's kind of like a nice mild garlic flavor. And so if you have a chance to have these in your box, they're very, very, very nice. Now, zucchinis. So we're hoping that zucchini will be ready mid-May. We'll see what happens. Let's take a quick look at them. these were transplanted just earlier this week. Oh no, and they look water stressed. Uh-oh, glad I checked. Oh shoot, they look really stressed. Oh my, I think what might have happened here is I left the greenhouse closed in the morning because of the cold wind. But in the meantime, the sun came out, I was doing other things, I forgot to come and open it. It's actually very warm in here right now. And so even though you can obviously see there's moisture in the soil, these guys are, you can see the wilting, they're obviously water stressed. So I'm going to open up and see if they adjust, and if they don't adjust quickly, I'll give them some more water. What I did want to show you though is that the beginnings of the fruiting season are actually already being formed. You can actually see little tiny flower buds right here. Those were actually already present when we transplanted them. And I'm going to guess that's probably a male flower. They often make male flowers first, and I also don't see the little bulb at the end that would signify a female flower. But still, this is the beginnings of flowering and fruiting, and some of these other little buds here there may well in there be something that's going to turn into an actual fruit. And so the beginnings of harvest are already here in the small seedling, and hopefully, middle of May, there'll be zucchini. I'm here in the field just across from the farmhouse right now. Here we have a crop, it's called Bansei Kukitachi. It's related to kakina, so it's one of those things that makes those kind of broccolette type things. I'll just pick one right here. This is literally how we pick it. We just kind of find these florets, and then we find the point on the stem where it's tender enough to break by hand, like so. And then this is what you get. These guys have already been picked pretty hard. We had a big shipment to Tama Organic Life on Tuesday this week. So if you're watching and you're in Vancouver, Tama Organic Life does have our product right now. They have some kakina, takana mustard greens, and a little bit of komatsuna. And so if you're able to head over there, good opportunity to be able to get some fresh greens. This, I was really impressed with how well these guys did. We've been harvesting some, this is just a smaller one. We've been harvesting some really, really beautiful, we call them todachi in general, like kakina, bansei kukitachi, all the ones you harvest like this. We've been harvesting some really beautiful todachi from this field and from our other field over there. Now this field in particular, like, it actually looks pretty nice right now. You can see how many plants there are. They look beautiful and happy. This field last fall was a kind of a disaster actually. We transplanted these guys, I think kind of in August or so, maybe early September. And what happened is the raccoons kept on coming and digging up the seedlings. I'm guessing they were looking for worms underneath, but they would literally just come scramble around, like scrabble around in the soil, digging things up, throw the seedlings everywhere, and leave this big mess. And we would try to retransplant them, and they would just do the same thing again the next night. So all these bare patches you're seeing here, that's where the raccoons killed the plants last year. But I was really impressed just how much harvest we got despite what we lost to the raccoons. And in the spaces in between, we've got plenty of this plant, which goes by a bunch of different names. Some people call it dead red nettle. Some people call it something else. It's also known as hime odorikoso in Japanese as well. I'm told it actually has herbal properties. We mostly just treat it as a weed. But one thing I'm really loving at this time of year is, if you were here, you would be able to see just how many of these lovely bees are coming and feeding on the flowers. And we're really happy to see them getting the food they need at this time of year. And so, I mean, theoretically, we could go through with a weed whacker and cut these guys down. I mean, this will mean more weed seeds in the next generation, unfortunately. But I asked for us to keep the flowers here because the bees are enjoying them. Also, the seeds, like this type of weed isn't really a problem in the summertime. It's more a problem like in the early spring, fall kind of season. And it actually, despite being a weed, it actually serves as a cover crop because it makes some kind of plant grow on top of the bare soil in winter when otherwise there would just be rain falling on bare dirt, which is not good for the soil at all. And so, you know, weeds though they may be called, they are really playing an important role here, feeding the bees, providing some ground cover, and if it means a little bit of extra weeding, we'll deal with it, kind of a thing. Thanks for watching today. That's it for today. The next big thing coming up for us is this afternoon we're going to go around and check to see where the soil is tillable, because just looking at the fields, they look like they're dry and ready to go. And so the season of soil preparation is likely upon us. Hopefully in our next update, which will be, it's April now, early May, we'll see what we've got going in early May. Hopefully I'll be able to show you where the eggplant and pepper seedlings and tomato seedlings are at. Hopefully we'll have some cucumber seedlings going by then if they're already in the ground. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. Bye for now.